same, as well as item number 2, RS 2024-773, a resolution recognizing the 20th anniversary of Meet Us at the Bridge. Those are the 2 items on consent. Is there anything that anybody wishes to remove from consent?
Move for approval.
All right. Motion for approval has been properly seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? So we have 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting in favor of our consent agenda. Next up, we have bills on second reading. So we have BL 2024-551, sponsored by myself, an ordinance readapting the code of the Metropolitan Government prepared by the Metropolitan Code Corporation, including supplemental and replacement pages thereof containing certain ordinances of a general and permanent nature enacted on or before May 21st, 2024. As it's my bill. So yeah, this is just a regular code cleanup bill. So I'm going to go ahead and move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Okay. So now we have late filed resolutions. That did not sound good. We've got a late filed substitute for BL 2024-577. It is an ordinance to authorize the building materials restrictions and requirements for BL 2024-576, a proposed special plan zoning district for properties located at 847 and 865 West Trinity Lane, approximately 102 feet west of Horizon Drive, 9.86 acres, to permit 250 multifamily residential units, all of which is described herein. Proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. And I believe this is from Chair Toombs. So Chair Toombs, you're recognized? Or actually, could you tell us the nature of the late file?
So it's changing, I believe, the proposal number, and it is necessary to move forward with filing it because, and this is going to sound real generic, it messes up the process, but I'll lean on Director Darby.
In order to give proper notice for the mailings, we need to update the proposal number. There was a typo. It's your housekeeping bill.
So a typographical error, something
Yes.
that, okay. So we've heard the reason for the late file. Any discussion on that? All right, so do we have a motion to suspend the rules on this?
Yes.
All right, so moved, properly seconded. All right, any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. Those in favor of suspending the rules?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. To suspend the rules on this. Okay, next we're going to move to agenda item number 5, a late filed ordinance sponsored by Councilmember Coopin, an ordinance authorizing the abandonment of alley number 196, right-of-way between 8th Avenue South and 7th Avenue South. And so we do have a letter from the Director of NDOT. I'll go ahead and read it into the record. It reads, Dear Chairman Prep T and Council members, I'm writing to request a suspension of the Council Rules of Procedure to allow for an ordinance abandoning a portion of alley number 196 to be considered on first reading on October 1st, 2024 Metro Council meeting. This alley closure was approved by the Traffic and Parking Commission on August 12th. This alley only serves property that will be part of a development project located at 701 7th Avenue South. Due to an administrative oversight, the legislation did not get signed in time to make the filing deadline for the October 1st meeting. I'm told by the developer that a failure to approve this ordinance October 1 jeopardizes the financing of the project. Therefore, I respectfully request that you recommend a suspension of the rules to allow this ordinance to be considered on first reading October 1st. Sincerely, Diane Alcron. And so I see Councilmember Coopin and Matt Purvis from NDOT here, so I'll go ahead and recognize you, Councilmember Coopin.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate that, and couldn't say it better than the director did in her letter, but this was passed in the Traffic and Parking Commission, as she's noted, in August. Kind of administrative process. It didn't make it to the council office in the appropriate time that it was supposed to. As we know, the way our structure works, there's a certain deadline to get things filed, to get public hearings set up, et cetera, et cetera. So a delay on this to timely file for the next meeting would push the public hearing too far out to pass the legislation in time for the developer to secure their financing. So especially given that it's a bill on first reading, request the committee's support in a rule suspension.
Mr. Perez, do you have anything further to say? Or?
Certainly second that. Yeah, the administrative oversight was purely on our side of things, and so that is something that we've also pursued rectifying in the future so that it doesn't happen again. So I would shamelessly beg that we go ahead and suspend the rules on this one.
Fair enough. We've heard the reason for the late file. Any further discussion from the committee? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Move for suspension of the rules.
All right, it's been moved, properly seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you all so much. Okay, moving forward, boards and commission appointments and nominees. Candidates in this category will appear before the Rules Confirmation and Public Elections Committee to determine the relative qualifications of the candidates. And so first up on agenda item number 6, we have the Auditorium Commission reappointment of Jerry Pentecost for a term expiring on June 30th, 2027. Is Mr. Pentecost here? Can we check in the side room?
He's not one of ours, so I don't know.
Do you want to,
Well,
I'll check next door, but if you want to move it to the heel.
okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and roll that to the hill. So next we have the contract, rolling agenda item number 6 to the hill, agenda item number 7, contract and compliance board consideration of nominees for a Metro Council member to serve as a non-voting member of the board with a term expiring October 15th, 2026. We have the nomination of Council Member Sandra Sepulveda, nominated by Council Member Sean Parker. So, Council Member Sepulveda, the floor is yours.
Do you want me to sit in the middle?
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Aw.
No? Yes. Do you want to ask me questions, or do you
Yeah.
want me to just talk about myself a little bit?
I'll let you talk about yourself now.
Okay. So committee members, Sandra Sepulveda. I have lived in District 30 since I was 5. I am very much interested in serving on this board and commission. As you all know, I have been one of the people that have worked on the legislation that helped create this board and commission. We worked on it for almost a year. When I first started on council, one of the issues that I wanted to tackle was making sure that we were protecting our workers. Nashville is one of the most dangerous places to work in construction. It is one of the most dangerous cities in the South. And we know that we have seen a number of fatalities and people getting injured on jobs. And in the process of working on this legislation, we had a young man of the age of 20 fall through the roof of Glencliff High School. And so we know that it's life and death, and families shouldn't have to worry if their family members are gonna come home safe and in one piece or at all. We know that we don't have enough inspectors on the ground. We know that our contracts aren't being audited. We know that there are several gaps, and I believe that having worked on this for a very long time, and my background, and not only my background, but my personal experience having family members who have worked in this industry my entire life, I believe that I can be an asset to the board and commission. So with that, I would ask for your support to be appointed to this board.
Any questions from the committee? No. Would you like a bus pass or a parking lot?
I already have a bus pass, so.
Okay, so we've heard the qualifications. I see no discussion from the committee on this. We'll go ahead and move to a vote. So those in favor of appointing Councilmember Sepulveda to this board, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? So 5 in favor, 0 against, 1 not voting. Can you vote for yourself?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I'm voting for myself because we
Alright.
vote for each other on the floor, so, yeah.
All right, so 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. And is Mr. Pentecost here? Okay, we'll continue to roll to the hill. All right, moving forward, well, for the record, there was also a nomination of Councilmember Jennifer Webb by Councilmember Tanya Hancock. That nomination has been withdrawn. Okay, moving forward, we have the Contract Compliance Board consideration of nominees to 2 vacancies to be filled by members of the community with terms expiring on October 15th, 2026. So first up, we have Ann Barnett, nominated by Councilmember Delisha Porterfield. And if we could get a chair to the center.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's all excellent.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I'm a little bit under the weather, but I took a COVID test and a flu test this morning, and I'm negative, just so everybody knows. And I am wearing a mask, just in case anybody's sensitive.
We appreciate the precaution.
Totally.
Thank you. Would you like a parking validation or a bus pass?
No thanks, I've parked on the street.
Okay, fair enough. So first, are you a Davidson County resident?
Yes, I live in District 14.
Okay. And do you serve on any other boards or commissions?
No.
Okay, perfect. So tell us a little bit about why you want to serve on the Contract and Compliance Board.
Sure. So I've lived in Tennessee my whole life. I've lived in Nashville for the past 9 years. And I, by trade, I'm a union organizer, and I've done various things with unions and with workers here in Nashville. I have the experience directly representing workers through the union process. So I've been both a union steward and a union representative that handles grievances. And so I've got a lot of experience with workers bringing complaints to me and hearing them out and determining whether or not they're just crappy situations or they're actually in violation of a union contract or of that worker's rights. And so I've got a lot of experience working with workers and sometimes telling them a hard truth, like you don't have a grievance here, or you do have a grievance and let's make this right for you. I also for a long time worked with the Central Labor Council. I'm still active with the Central Labor Council and was one of the co-chairs of Stand Up Nashville that helped fight for ordinances here in Nashville, the Do Better bill and the Get It Right bill, to try to address the worker safety issue and the worker safety crisis that we're having here in Nashville. So I'm intimately aware of the hurdles that we have to get over with state interference here. Some of those bills have been struck down by the state or at least challenged. So I think that it's on us to figure out how to be creative here in Nashville to make sure that we're good stewards of our tax dollars, to make sure that we're contracting with responsible contractors who put safety first and follow the safety plans that they say they're going to follow, and also don't steal workers' wages, right? That follow all of the laws and the contract that we have that Metro has signed with them. So I'm really excited to be part of this board to try to, again, figure out another avenue that we can make sure that we're creating safe workplaces here in our city.
Perfect. Thank you. So a question that I have that is I think pertinent, just given what we've seen out of East Tennessee with Tropical Storm Helene and reports of a company telling their workers stay, but then after the fact saying, no, we didn't say that, and it resulting in direct loss of life. I guess sort of amorphously my question is how would you view your role on this board in working to mitigate those risks and making sure that we've got good actors who are being awarded these Metro contracts?
Right, that's a good question. I think one of the things that I am interested in being part of this founding body is to sort of set the tone for how Metro reacts to, how the board reacts to these sorts of complaints. Obviously, in that situation, I'm not sure a board like this could have intervened in the 5 minutes or so that determine life or death, right? But one of the things I am interested in making sure that happens with this board is making sure that we're communicating to workers across the county that this is a resource for you if you feel like you are unsafe at work, if you feel like your employer is not following the proper safety protocols, that workers all across the county know, no matter, if you're at the top of the food chain or the bottom of the food chain on a construction site, no matter if you're working directly for the general contractor or like working for a sub, no matter what language you speak or where you might come from, that you know that we're here to make sure that this is a safe workplace. And so I think that'll be a key thing to make sure that this board is a success, that workers across the county know that they have access to make complaints to this board.
Any questions from the committee?
I don't have
Commissioner
I don't have a
Garrett?
question, but I think Ms. Barnett is eminently qualified for this, especially since it's as she said, a founding board or a newly organized board, and I'm excited about her serving on it.
Same, just a comment, having known Ann for several years now and knowing her background and all the work she's done, I think that Ann is certainly qualified and will be an asset to the board.
Thanks.
Seeing nothing further from the committee, we will move to, actually, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Next up, again for the Contract and Compliance Board, consideration of nominees for a term expiring on October 15th, 2026 is Dante Glees. Mr. Glees, come on forward, please. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
Parking validation would be great.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes, I live over in north of Germantown, right there, Metro Center.
Perfect. And do you currently serve on any other boards or commissions?
No, not currently.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about why you want to serve on this board.
I just think it's an incredible opportunity as a guy, a country guy growing up right here around this area my whole life, watching the gold come out of the ground, watching the Titans come to the area. I mean, I remember sitting right there at the old Virago as they were building up the gulch and just kind of watching all this growth and wondering what my place in all this would look like. And to be here today is just such an honor. It's a privilege. Like I can't just really explain how fortunate I feel to be a little country guy who grew up around my grandmother's backyard to now part of the union IBW as a 10-year member. Get to stand before you, maybe serve my community the best I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you. One of the things that I think we've touched on with language access for workers and worker safety is ensuring that we are sort of promoting safety and equity in the way that we admit our contracts. So would you be willing to, or would you commit to advancing the
Yeah,
those
absolutely. I
principles?
mean, that's the most important part of work. I mean, we all go to work so we provide for people that we care about the most. And something we always talked about was, you want to go home the same way you came to work with all 10 fingers and all 10 toes. And it's devastating to hear of injuries. Being on TVA job sites, you hear about scaffolding and pieces of equipment falling down off the top and falling on top of the worker's head. He's just like us. A guy who left home hoping to be able to pay the bills but didn't make it back. So I mean, for me that's important because I see what construction and building a life has meant for me, and the opportunity to come through being in construction and being on these job sites. It's made a world of difference. But I don't ever leave home, telling my dog be a good boy and not expecting to see my house again. So I think if we can stand in the gap and be the bastion for what it means to be safe on a job site, what it means to follow rules, to do your willing best, right, for the people around you, that you can make a difference and be a part of the growth of Nashville.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee?
No questions, but Dante is my nominee, and highly recommend him. This is the Contracts and Compliance Board that's the intent is for worker safety, and he is the worker, right? And has a lot of experience as part of the working class, as well as being part of a union and representing other workers. So he is the very essence of what this board is intended to do, so I highly recommend his approval.
Thank you.
Same, Dante comes highly recommended, and I've heard great things, so I do look forward to hearing his perspective and his experience more on the board.
Wonderful. Anything else from the committee? All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. All right, thank you so much. All right, next up, we have the Housing Trust Fund Commission consideration of a nominee to fill one vacancy on the commission with a term expiring on September 17th, 2029. First up, we have the Honorable Gloria Hauser, nominated by Councilmember Sherry Winkner.
It's all out of order.
Yeah, it is. Councilmember Hauser, thank you for being here. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
Pardon?
Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
I would like parking validation. Thank you.
Thank you. And so, are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than the one you're being nominated to?
No, I am.
Okay. Former Councilmember Hauser, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve on this commission.
Sure, gladly. The reason I want to serve on this commission is affordable housing has been my passion for a long time. Those that served on the council with me know that I was on the Affordable Housing Committee for 4 years and served as chair for one. And I just feel that my background, which started out in finance, I was actually handling the variety of government-backed loans for businesses. So I'm very familiar with the complexities and the nuances that come along with grants and loans, which can be very tricky to make sure you navigate it right. And I did this very early on when I was in economic development, then moved into commercial lending, and again, funding a variety of projects. I needed to know what worked and what didn't, and how to talk with those businesses and let them know what they needed to do to get to a point that we could say yes. And then more recently, the last 10 years, I had served as a finance director for New Level CDC, which is a nonprofit that has utilized the funds. I'm no longer with them, but to make sure there's no conflict here, that utilize the Barnes funds for a variety of projects. And through that, in managing those affordable rental properties and in the variety of commercial, or it's not commercial, but affordable housing that we built to sell, I realized the complexity that is involved in these projects, which is much more than a market rate project. In a market rate project, you go 50,000 over, you just charge 50,000 more. In our affordable housing, you eat it, which means you could go bankrupt, which also means that funds such as the Barnes Fund are absolutely essential for affordable housing. We all know that in Nashville, we continue to have a big gap between the affordable housing we have and the affordable housing we need, and that gap is not getting smaller despite all the efforts that we have. The Barnes Fund is a critical tool in that, and I think that the skills that I have of understanding the folks that are in affordable housing, understanding the builders and all the things that you can run up against. I remember there was one project that we needed to dynamite, and we hadn't figured that into the project, and suddenly that project we actually lost money on. The only way it worked is we had the Barnes Fund to fall back on. So I understand all those complexities and what it takes to make those projects successful. Because when we're talking about taxpayers' money, that taxpayers' money needs to be spread out to the most effective way that it can. And my concern is if we don't do that, then we won't have public support for us to keep putting money for the Barnes Fund in our budget. So that is really critical. And one that, as I look through the current members on the Housing Funds Commission, I didn't see anybody whose background was quite brought the nuances that I bring to the table. We had some people that were realtors, we had some people that were architects, so they have, their little plug. My plug is I understand finance, and I understand what makes projects work, and how to fit all those pieces together. And I think that's the unique skill set that I bring to the Housing Trust Fund, that, as I say, when you're trying to put together a board, you like to have different skill sets. Everybody doesn't need to be the same skill set, and I think I bring a skill set that isn't there now, and that's what I think I would be helpful to that commission. I have the passion, I have the willingness, and I have the skills, and would love to be able to continue serving the community in that role.
Thank you.
Questions, concerns?
Councilmember Weiner.
I nominated her. I don't nominate lightly. I have watched Gloria, known her for years, and have worked pretty closely with her over the years, and was just honored to be able to nominate her, and I would appreciate everybody hearing her words. They come from the heart, and this is her thing. This is her passion, and I can't think of anybody more qualified to be sitting over in that group.
Any questions from the committee? All right, seeing none, do we have
And
one?
I think, just to add on to what Sherry said, I think it's important to not only have the passion, but also have the skill set. And the one without the other doesn't really get the job done. So that's my plea.
Thank you so much. All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Did you want to say anything else? Or I saw you
Me?
about to say something, yeah.
Nope.
Okay, all right.
Hi, Gloria.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
We'll go ahead and move to a vote. Those in favor?
I
Aye.
make her look
opposed?
tall, so she
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go take a picture with Gloria in a second.
All right, perfect. We've got 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much. All right, next we have Jayla Thomas, nominated by Councilmember Jennifer Webb. Jayla, perfect. Thank you for being here. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
Parking validation, please.
Thank you.
Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes, sir.
And do you currently serve on any other boards or commissions other than the one you're being nominated to?
No.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about why you want to serve on this commission.
Okay, I believe I can serve on this board because I have firsthand knowledge of what the affordable housing can do for your life. 2008 was big, blunder for a lot of people, and because of that, we were able to, get housing and to get back on our feet. And now my mom owns her own house, and that was very vital part of our, youth. Not everybody comes from the same, backgrounds, and a lot of people can be against affordable housing simply because they don't understand that we all have the same, needs, and they could be against it because they don't want certain people in their neighborhoods. But when you see people and their backgrounds, and we all have the same passions and all the same goals, right? I spoke last time about creating a nonprofit, and just seeing the intricacies of those kind of things. And I worked with a lot of people who needed things like affordable housing, and I saw people who were homeless and people who were estranged, and my heart went out for them. So that's actually why my husband and I, we started a nonprofit in Texas before we moved here. And from moving here, we saw how things just have blown up, during COVID, and like Gloria was saying, like the gap between, things have drastically changed, and a lot of people are having a lot of pressures again, and we're seeing some situations just like 2008 again. And my background in business, and before I had my daughters, I was a business consultant, and I helped people start, grow, and scale, 6-figure businesses, and I understand finances, and I understand how to, step outside the box sometimes, right? But I also understand how to stretch a penny, when you need to stretch it. And I think that's important because even when you have capital, understanding partnerships and understanding when you can not put that same pressure on the actual, committee or the actual government, right? You partner with people outside and you say, hey, we can give you guys permitting push through the permits, if you guys can make a percentage toward affordable housing and your, in your projects going forward. And I think if we can just start thinking outside the box, we can get more out of every dollar, right? And I just believe that I would be a good fit for this commission, and I love people. And I obviously think it's a human right that everyone can live, right, and have a home. Okay, so that is pretty much why I believe that I'd be a good fit for this commission.
Perfect, thank you. Councilmember Webb, do you want to speak to your nominee?
Well, yeah, I met Jayla through a friend. They reached out to me and said they have somebody that they felt that was interested in being on a board. I said, well, I have to know a little bit more about her. She sent me her resume. I asked her what boards she wanted to serve on. She gave me 2, and this is one of them. She said she was very passionate because she was here. She understands it. She's experienced it. And she asked me would I nominate her, and I met her. I went and we had coffee, and I looked at her resume, and we talked for about 2 hours there. And I think she'll be a great fit for this. I think she's passionate about it because she's been there. She's got the knowledge of the background. Her and her husband do their own business. And I think she'll be a great fit for this board.
Great. Any questions from the committee?
Move to approve.
All right,
Second.
moved and properly seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next we have the Contract Compliance Board appointment of Fabian Bedne, the Honorable Fabian Bedne, for a term expiring on July 27th, 2026.
All right.
Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you for
here.
the honorable part.
Yes. Well, would you like a bus pass or a parking
Can I
violation?
have one of each?
Of course, yeah. So are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes, I live in the best district in the city, District 31.
Agree to disagree, yeah.
Maybe all of us would do that.
Yeah. Do you currently serve on any other boards or commissions?
No, sir.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about why you want to serve on this board.
Can I actually digress a minute? I would like to wish Councilmember Winner Shana Tova, Happy New Year. And anybody else that celebrates Happy New Year tomorrow, starting tomorrow night. Why do I want to serve? I just love helping people. I think I have a unique skill set by serving the council, and also because of my background in architecture and my commitment to having a more equitable and safe place in the city. And so I think what I know about the process in which buildings are put together may be helpful as we're having conversations in the commission.
Well, I just want to say I am ecstatic to see that you are being appointed for this. You have been a pillar in the community and a true champion for equity and justice throughout the community. So I personally think that you will serve phenomenally on this board, but want to open it up to the committee. So, Councilmember Weir.
Having served with this man, it's unquestionable that he's a perfect fit. He's actually a perfect fit for anything he wants to do. But I'm tickled. This is great.
Thank you, Councilman.
And Shana Tova.
Anything else from the committee?
Because it's Fabian, and Fabian, early on, he was one of the first people that I saw from the community doing this type of work. In a room, he spoke to a bunch of college students, and I was one of them. And he was talking about the work he was doing on council, so I agree that he could do anything he wants, so I'm just happy that he agreed to do this.
Thank you. I should tape this.
It is tape.
Yeah.
Go back on YouTube and watch it over and over again.
I forgot to thank Mayor O'Connell for nominating me for this, so I just wanted to take that privilege to say that. And thank you for your kindness.
Go ahead and I'll move for approval. Do we have a second?
Second.
So moved and properly seconded. Any other discussion from the committee? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have the Contract Compliance Board appointment of Michael. Oh goodness, I
got you. Idavia. Idavia.
Idavia.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. There we go.
Tough Italian last name.
Yes, appreciate. I appreciate the assist. Thank you.
I got you.
Would you like a bus pass or a parking violation?
Oh, I'll take a parking.
Perfect. And say your name for me one more time.
Idavia.
Idavia.
Yes.
Okay.
Should we all do it now?
Perfect.
Kidding.
Okay, Mr. Idavia, tell us a little bit. Oh, well, so let me back up. Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
I am. Yes.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions?
I do not.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about why you want to serve on this board.
Sure. So, you know, I've pretty much dedicated my both academic and now professional career to workers' rights and lifting up the rights of workers. So somehow in high school, I knew that I wanted to do labor union work, and so I went to the Cornell University School of Industrial Labor Relations and pretty much studied labor history and, you know, sociology of labor and pretty much labor issues around the workplace, both from a management and a union side. And, you know, through that experience led me to law school and continued on that track. And now, you know, since graduating from law school, I've pretty much dedicated my entire career to representing labor unions, workers, both in the community and across the country. And I'm an attorney at the law firm Strange, Jennings & Garvey. And so, you know, in the course of my practice, many of the issues that I think would come before this board and that this board would care about have quite literally come across my desk. We represent workers who have fallen through roofs and to their death. You know, underage employees who have unfortunately been exploited in their careers or, well, in their work. You know, and I've also had the opportunity to work with labor unions to negotiate contracts and to think about how we can work to organize around issues to hopefully lift all workers up. And so I think, you know, while of course I bring the legal experience of, you know, that technical background, I think one thing that I also bring that I would say is a little unique is that I really value the importance of coming together and talking and having a conversation and working through, you know, the various different perspectives, because I think that's the only way to really achieve some sort of change is if we're all on the same page. And so, you know, that sort of organizing mindset, I guess is what I call it, is something that I think that I would really bring to the table in addition to my legal experience. And so I think that's why, yeah.
Perfect. Any questions from the committee?
Your resume is fascinating.
Thank you.
I think one of the important things that the board is going to be looking at, and if you guys looked at the legislation, is we are heavily looking at contracts. And so Idavia,
Yes.
Mr. Idavia's background, I think, is very much going to be heavily needed and utilized, especially as we go into dealing with the state and making sure that we live within the parameters of not, you know, not violating state statute, right? And making sure that, you know, we have so many different departments and our contracts are so vast, and we just haven't been paying as much attention as we need to. So I do appreciate your willingness to serve on this board.
Tenor saxophone.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. Yeah, just to echo Councilmember Sepulveda, I think that your resume speaks for itself, and that your level of legal expertise is going to be something that is invaluable to this board, because all boards and council, we benefit from legal advice from the attorneys from Metro Legal who advise us, but I think Chair Toombs and I can say that actually having attorneys on as sitting members is of a net benefit for the entirety of the body. So yes, yeah, thank you for your willingness to serve. Anything else from the committee?
I'm very impressed and feeling really good about this new board.
Here, I'll second that. Okay, so seeing nothing else from the committee, we'll go ahead and
Motion to approve.
yes.
Second.
Thank you.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next to the same board, we have Mr. Matt Nill for a term expiring on September 5th, 2026. Mr. Nill, would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
Parking, please.
Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes, sir.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions?
No, sir.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about why you want to serve.
So, again, Matthew Neal, like a lot of the other people who have come before you, I was born and raised in Nashville. Born at Baptist, which is now St. Thomas. Grew up in Creep Hall, live in District 15 now in Donaldson. My wife also born and raised in Nashville, so we've seen Nashville kind of grow from the early 90s into what it is now. Once I graduated high school, went to work for a general contractor, which I still work for now. Started as a laborer, worked my way up as I was going through school, became an assistant project manager, became a project coordinator, which I know the roles may not necessarily mean a lot to you all, but just moving up the ranks into a senior project manager, which I am now. And all of that was just by being at the same company and working and seeing it all the way from pushing a broom all the way up to being in a supervisory role. So one of the big things at the company that I work for now is safety, and we put a very large emphasis on safety. Within the company that I work for, we revamped our safety manual to go from about 50 pages to over 100 pages to make sure that we are protecting our workers as well as some of the other workers or all of the other workers that are on our job site, because what we say every week in our safety meetings is the last thing that we want is for you to not go home to your families. We want everybody to go home to their families. We want the job to be done correctly, but we want it to be done in a safe manner. So I think the emphasis that we have on safety will help bring kind of some insight to this board. I think with the way that I've come up through the company, I have interacted with almost every single level that's been out on the job site. Working for a general contractor, we are in charge of keeping everybody safe. We're in charge of the entirety of the job site. And again, the role that I'm in now is interaction with different subcontractors from all different walks of life, different nationalities, making sure that everybody feels safe and everybody has the resources that they need. So being kind of let's say on the front lines and interacting every day, I think getting some feedback from the guys that are on the job site, men and women that are on the job site, I think will be beneficial into what this board is looking for to help hopefully make a safer construction working environment for the people.
Perfect. So just based off of your experience, I guess the one question that I have is, and I'm not asking you to name any names, but sort of knowing the reputation of different entities that operate here in Davidson County and being able to identify those who aren't necessarily good faith actors. Is that a skill that you feel like you would be able to bring to this board?
I think that it's not necessarily a company. I do think that there's certain trades sometimes that seem like that we will kind of put a little bit more of a focus on them. But at the end of the day, I think that they're in the same boat as we are, is they want to be safe. And if there's somebody that's on their team that's pushing them to work in an unsafe manner in order to hit a timeline or hit some sort of time frame, then they're open and they come to us and they talk with us. And we can have that discussion and we put it to an end quick. So I think that there is certain facets of construction that we know kind of where to look and which direction to look in. They say that Nashville is a big city, but I think the construction market still kind of has that small town feel. So word does get around quick for if there is a contractor that pushes kind of an unhealthy work environment. I think that word gets around town amongst subcontractors, and that does end up getting back to, I think, everybody within the community of Nashville. So to answer your question, I do think that there is a little bit of insight there. So.
Anything from the committee?
Me. So, Mr. Neal, I do appreciate your willingness to serve on this board. I know that one of the things that we talked about that while working on this legislation, receiving feedback from council members was the need to have as a contractor on the board, and so we made sure to add that into the substitute. And so we are looking forward to having someone with your background to be able to, work on this important issue. We know that not every contractor is bad. There are definitely good companies out there who are doing good work, and unfortunately there are a lot of bad actors that make this work hard for everyone. So we look forward to having you be a part of the team and being a partner in this endeavor, and hopefully making our metro sites the safest throughout this city.
Anything else from the committee? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move this nominee.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion probably seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next to the same board, the Contract Compliance Board appointment of Fredo Pena III for a term expiring September 3rd, 2026. Mr. Pena, thank you for being here. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation?
Parking validation, please. Thank you.
Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
Yes, I am.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions?
Currently, I serve for the State Department of Labor as a board member for the Southwest region. I've been appointed just a month ago.
But no metro.
Yeah, I don't think that'll cause a conflict. Okay, so tell us a little bit about why you want to serve on this board.
First of all, thank you so much, and for me, it's an honor to be sitting here in front of y'all. I think I can be a good asset, actually, for this committee. I've been working in Nashville for the past 10 years in the construction boom. I am the only independent authorized federal OSHA bilingual instructor in the state of Tennessee. I've been working around OSHA trainings, certifying Spanish-speaking workers and English-speaking workers for the past 18 years in the state of Tennessee. I have kind of certified about 600 Spanish-speaking OSHA 10 workers, construction workers, and close to about 300 English-speaking workers. I enjoy doing safety. I got involved because I'm the founding father of worker centers in the state of Tennessee in Memphis. We were affiliated with Interfaith Worker Justice out of Chicago. And with that, we were invited, my worker center was invited to be a pilot program in providing Spanish OSHA certifications for Latino workers because we were losing 1,600 workers back in 2009 per year. And by providing these Spanish OSHA certifications, the numbers started dropping. That got me more interested. And I've been a union organizer for the past 18 years, community organizer and union organizer. I work for 3 different labor unions here in Nashville, Tennessee. As well, I still work with the building trades as an OSHA instructor. I've been working with the Latino family construction workers that have lost workers or their loved ones while doing construction work in this city and in pretty much the whole state, but mainly more in Nashville ever since the construction boom started in 2014. I really enjoy meeting all these construction workers from, like we've known, a lot of people have been moving from other parts of the country to make the city more beautiful and making it grow. And I enjoy meeting them and learning about their cultures, but mainly teaching them about safety. I always get a big smile on my face when at the end of my trainings I get to hear that I've had people with 20 years experience, 5 years experience, and even with the 20, 25 years experience, it says, sir, I will say thank you for your time because they'll actually learn something new on how to actually be more safer at work. My belief is we go to work as a construction worker myself. I did that for about as well 15 years. My belief was we go to work to do our responsibilities to make our communities beautiful by creating beautiful buildings and everything that is needed to make the cities more dependable and more beautiful. So we shouldn't go to work to die. We should go to work to be able to come and support our families and enjoy the fruit of our work. And I think by being an OSHA instructor and actively an OSHA instructor with building trade, the city of Memphis and throughout the whole state, I think I can be a good asset to this committee.
I definitely think that you'll be an amazing asset.
Thank you, thank you.
Anything from the committee?
I'll say this, Alfredo is one of the only people throughout the state with his background and qualifications. As the administration might know, it's hard to find someone like that throughout. So I wholeheartedly say I can't wait to work with someone like him.
All right, so I'll go ahead and move to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Now we move to the Convention Center Authority reappointment of Nora Bookstra for a term expiring September 30th, 2028. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Dykstra?
Dykstra?
Yes.
I don't know why I, okay.
That's quite all right. It doesn't look like that when
Yes.
you see it, so no problem.
Nora, thank you for being here. Parking validation?
I may,
Okay.
yes, I have my
Yes.
bus pass already.
Are you currently a Davidson County resident?
I am.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to today?
I do not.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about why you want to continue serving.
Thank you. So first, it's been an honor to serve as the chair of the Convention Center Authority Board, and I would love the opportunity to continue in that role. A little bit about my background. My training, my background is in architecture and urban planning. And so I have a lot of experience in sort of thinking about how cities work and the elements of the cities that support the city. And in this case, the Convention Center is certainly that. It is an economic engine for our city and our state. And this is a very exciting time for the Convention Center with the possibility of the feasibility study to consider the possibility of expansion. And so I am excited about that in particular too. And I also would mention that my background, my granddad was a state senator in Kansas as I was growing up. So public service and community service is in my DNA. My mother, my father, we were all very involved. And so, it just is a true gift that I get this opportunity to be on this particular board, to serve in this way. And also my day job is the general manager for the Mall of Green Hills. And I feel that in my many years of that, I started out as construction coordinator and facilities director at the mall and then became the general manager. So I feel that I have that practical experience and then certainly the leadership element. And over the years, I've experienced a lot of different situations. And so I am a leader that knows how to facilitate conversation, but also knows when to speak up when it's necessary and lead. So I think those are qualities that are important for this board and the chairperson for the board. So, that is kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and say I've worked really closely with Nora on things around Green Hills, and I have my full-throated support, and amazing to support you for continuing to serve on this. I saw you're in Councilmember Cash.
Yeah, thank you for all you do, and I know you have to put up with Charles a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's a tough thing.
He's fantastic.
I know.
I couldn't be luckier, yes.
I've been in the hotel business for a long time,
Yes.
so I truly appreciate his
Yes.
What are the things, one or two things, it's obviously our engine driver, and what are the things that you see in the future that are going to be important as chair?
I think it's going to be important as chair to dive into the data and the facts of what we find in the feasibility study and truly honor what that information tells us. I think that it might be enticing to say, we must push forward, we must go in this direction or that direction. I think the first step is seeing exactly what the information tells us. And really honoring that step first, because there's a lot of possibilities. And so I'd say that's one.
Is there a timeline for that?
We have, I think the feasibility study will begin in the next week or two, and then it's, I believe it's 16 weeks total that we would have for that,
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect.
And then, just continuing to facilitate, I think it was mentioned earlier, a board is made up of a lot of different skills and talents, and we have a great board with, with people's different focus in finance and in legal and also folding in the state representatives, certainly. So I think I would say that's the second piece. It's continuing to foster that relationship so that it supports what we're up to, and that has gone really well. And I know that's not always been easy for
for some other boards, but it's gone really well for us.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Any other questions?
All right, seeing nothing further, do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moving properly seconded, those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? 7 in favor, or 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we have the Convention Center Authority reappointment of Seema Prasad for a term expiring on September 30th, 2028. Would you like a bus pass or a parking validation? Okay. And did I pronounce your name correctly?
You did.
Okay,
Very
perfect.
well,
So tell us a little bit, are you currently a Davidson County resident?
I am, yes.
And do you serve on any other boards or commissions other than what you're being reappointed to?
No, not currently.
So tell us a little bit about why you want to continue serving.
So I've had the wonderful opportunity to serve. I'm finishing out, am I still finishing out Renata Soto's term from earlier in the pandemic where we did this via Zoom. It has been enlightening. My background is in hospitality and I'm an entrepreneur. I think this is my 33rd year of business ownership, and so looking at numbers, creating a plan, digging into, okay, what are the 10 options we didn't consider? I mean, it's the way I operate on a daily basis, and that's very much what's required in this position. It is the most well-oiled machine, and I will say, Charles and the team, you walk in and it is so highly organized, you kind of wonder what we're needed for. And then when we dig into the budget, or we dig in, it's just, we're that second set of eyes, where different expertise coming in from the community. Mine really just being in hospitality, I mean, and business ownership, and asking extra questions. So it's now, just being there for 4 years already, I'm starting to really understand the nuance that much more. I mean, the first year or so, you think you understand it, and it's great, but then you really start to know which questions we could ask because you have enough history. And I think especially with the study that we're doing, the feasibility study, it's gonna be very helpful to have some of us that have a little bit of history and know some of the questions and some of the situations that have happened, some of the questions that we have asked, due to just scenario. So I have very much enjoyed it. I hope I've been a contribution, and I would like to very much continue.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your willingness to continue. Any questions from the committee? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to the motion.
So moved. Second.
Moved properly seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much. So now we move to Finance Director appointment of Janine Reed as the Metropolitan Director of Finance.
Sorry. Thank you so much. I'll let you want me to go through first?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Sorry. Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate your time. We'll start off with the standard questions. Are you currently a Davidson? Well, do you have to be a Davidson County resident for this?
I don't think so.
I'll go ahead and ask
I
anyway.
am,
Okay, perfect,
and I'm
yeah.
actually District 25.
Oh, yes, well, welcome. Yes. You got my vote. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve as the Metro Director of Finance.
So first of all, I want to say I'm really grateful to the mayor for this wonderful opportunity to be finance director for the city. I'm really interested in the position because although I am not from Nashville, all of my family is born and raised in Nashville. My grandparents, my parents, my husband, I've raised my daughter in this wonderful city, and I love this city. I have a wealth of background. I've been in the finance area for 30 plus years. Most recently, I was at Metro Nashville for almost 3 years, serving as the Deputy Finance Director. and chief accountant. Under that role, I produced the annual comprehensive financial report, the single audit for the city, also produced the first ever public annual financial report in that role, was responsible for cash projections, fund balance projections, and then played an integral role in the fund balance policy, which really helped us move our ratings up in terms of the bond ratings agencies. So I had some great experience there. I worked with all divisions across finance and can say they are amazing. They are an incredible bunch, and so to be able to come back and work with that group again would be truly an honor for me. I also had great relationships across Metro, including various departments, agencies, and commissions, and feel like I had great collaborative relationships there, including MMPS. And then I really believe in serving. I believe that that's what this role is. I believe in transparency, honesty, consensus building, and to be able to serve in this capacity, the great city that I love, would truly be an honor for me.
Thank you. My first question is, seeing that you have previous tenure as the Deputy Director of Finance, what were some of the biggest challenges and lessons learned while you served in that capacity?
Great question. I think for me, when I first arrived at Metro, one of the biggest challenges was understanding the systems, the processes at Metro, and the complexities of that. And so it does take a while to understand how Metro works, how big the organization is, and also making those connections when you get here. You know, I had one-on-one meetings with various departments during my time here that we would meet regularly or every other week, because you needed to make sure that you stayed on top of things. And if you don't stay on top of things, you don't keep agendas, you don't keep track of where you are and make sure that things are moving forward, then being as large as Metro is, you can get lost in that. So that was definitely one of the challenges, is the chart of accounts here at Metro is very complex, as we all know. So a lot of those processes and system challenges were what I really witnessed in my first kind of year.
And then, in serving in this new capacity, what would be some of the things that you would want to achieve during your tenure as the director?
Great question, too. For me, one of the things that I want to bring to the role is continuity and stability. While I was here at Metro, I had 3 different finance directors, for example. So being able to bring that stability and continuity to this role, I think, is key. I think we all know a lot of the challenges coming down the pike. There's the transit plan that's coming up pretty quickly on the ballot. There's also the East Bank that's out there. We also have the budget process that's getting ready to kick off, and also I think the CSP is about to get going as well. So there's a lot of I like to call them opportunities to really bring my skill set to bring continued financial stability to this role.
Any questions from the committee?
Comment. So Janine was with Metro towards the tail end, the second half of my term as budget chair, and also when I served on audit committee. Very knowledgeable, definitely a subject matter expert in finance, and very easy to work with. So I highly recommend her for approval for this position.
Anything further from?
I've got a question. What are some of the things that you think you would like to change or improve, as part of your new role?
Love that. So as I mentioned, I really do want to bring some stability to the finance team. I think they've had a lot of, it's been a roller coaster, and when you're constantly changing kind of directors, it's really hard to get into a rhythm and feel secure in that role. So that's one of the things that I really want to bring to the table. I really want to have some one-on-one conversations with various board chairs and really understand some of the issues at hand. And there's, like I said, there's a lot to bring there. We also have the Oracle project that I was really integral in, moving to Oracle Cloud. I think that's going to bring a lot of efficiencies to Metro instead of a lot of paper shuffling and that type of thing. We're going to be able to bring efficiencies through that new Oracle Cloud project. that will really make Metro a little bit more efficient, faster, bringing some of that automation.
And may I ask a follow-up?
Yeah.
So on the Oracle project, because I'm not as familiar with that, so is that something that will improve like the reporting potentially? And will it increase the connectivity from some of those boards and commissions that doesn't exist today?
Yes, it should increase reporting, transparency. It should also make life a lot easier for our employees, for example, so that when we hire someone through HR, there will be an automation to their hiring process. So yes, all of those things.
Thank you.
Anything further? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Great.
So much.
Thank you so much. I
Okay.
look forward to working with all of you.
Next is the Property Standards Appeal Board reappointment of Lynn Wilkinson for a term expiring on August 6th, 2028. That has been withdrawn. So let's go back to the Auditorium Commission reappointment of Jerry Pentecost for a term expiring on June 30th, 2027. Not seeing any indication that Mr. Pentecost is here. This is an appointment by the vice mayor, so.
Move to defer one meeting.
All right, the motion is to defer one meeting. I'll go ahead and second. Any discussion on the deferral motion? Seeing none, we'll move to the vote. The question on the floor is to defer one meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Okay, so the next section is boards and commission confirmations. Candidates in this category will be subject to a recommendation vote by the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee and approved by the full council. I'm going to go ahead and place both folks on consent. Does anybody wish to pull them from consent? Okay, reading them into the record. Item number 18, Civil Service Commission appointment of Jason T. Evans for a term expiring on March 1st, 2025. And the Property Standards and Appeals Board appointment of Daniel B. DePriest for a term expiring on July 27th, 2028. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. We come now to the adjournment. Vice Chair to move.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Yeah. Motion on the floor is that we do now stand adjourned. Without objection, we stand adjourned.